Hi guys. What we're going to go through today is our book panel, setting up our book panel for our big books. And I know in the last video I did go over setting up the big panel, or the book panel, but we're going to do it again from scratch. One thing I don't think I told you to do last time was to do your front matter for your book. So with my book, I did create a page or a document for my front matter. Okay, and you can do that just by copying your chapter 1, just like we did with all of our blank documents. Even if you have something in chapter 1, you can duplicate it 2 times. So I'd essentially just be going in and in chapter 1, I would just be duplicating my file, could duplicate it twice, okay? And then I would change it. I'm gonna have to use a different, call it front matter. I already have a front matter document, so it's gonna give me an error if I do that. So I'm just gonna call it FM for right now. And then I could even go to my copy and do back. I didn't want to call it BM. Back matter. I'll call it 1. So you can give it whatever name you want. It's going to be confusing in mine right now just because I have 2, but what I would do is if I did it that way, I would really just open up the document and delete all the pages except for the first one and delete that just so it's really keeping the styles, and then I would save it. Okay. So now you have a blank back matter page, and you could also go to your FM document, your front matter document, and do the exact same thing, okay? And this is just to keep the styles and make sure that everything is a cohesive look throughout, okay? So then you could save that document and close out of there. So that's how you would set up, and then you can go through and set up your half title. So remember, the half title is your very first page in your book. It will include only your title. And it's usually a very simplified version of it. So whatever you set your body copy in or your headings in, it would be a typeface like that. Then you would go to your title page, which would include the author, any publishing information that you'd want on there, and your title. It would be a simplified version of your title, but on this page, your title page, you can include a graphic, like a black and white graphic. Remember, it would be a grayscale graphic on this page if you chose to put imagery on this page. Just remember, everything has to be black on the inside. And then we would go on to the copyright page. And your copyright page can be something very, very simple. If you took your text from Gutenberg, though, you could even just copy the text from the beginning of the Gutenberg book, and you can include that in there. Or it could honestly just be, copyright, the year and date, and just something, again, very, very simple. So the date and the year, yeah, copyright. And then, for example, today is Sunday, March 7th. So I could just put copyright March 2021 if I wanted to. Okay, but it doesn't have to be anything big, but just remember your copyright page is going to be on your left-hand side. I also want you to include space for your table of contents. Now, I am not going to set up my table of contents right now. I'm going to insert the pages for it. And I know, because I've done this book before, that my table of contents is actually going to be 2 pages. But I also need my document to end on the left-hand side. So 2 pages should be perfect for that. So it ends on page 6. So I would start my table of contents on page 5. And again, I know mine's going to go over to page 6. What I would also do is, because you're probably going to have a couple blank pages in there as well, because we're not going to go straight from the table of contents to our first chapter, you could put a dedication in if you wanted to, or you could just add a couple extra pages of a blank document. So I'm actually just going to add two more blank pages in there. Okay, and now that I set that up, I'm just going to save it. Okay, I'm going to go in and make sure that I save it in the correct folder. I do have a couple different folders in my file organization. I want you guys to organize your pages like this as well. So in your document, you're going to have inside your folder, your main folder, you're going to have 3 folders. So one for the cover, one for the pages, and then one for your files to blurb. The files to blurb are only going to include your final PDFs of your cover and your pages, which are set up to the size specifications that blurb gives you based off of your page count. So I'm just going to save my front matter in my pages document, because it's part of my pages. And it is going to overwrite the one that I have in there. We'll save, and I'm going to replace. Okay, so I actually deleted my I'm going to delete my book panel document here. Okay, I'm going to delete my book document so I can actually show you and work from scratch on this one. Okay, so and this was a document from last year, so I'm just cleaning it up for you guys so you don't actually have to delete this stuff. So I'm going to go to File, New, and Book. Okay, and again, I am going to save it accordingly. So this is going to be my last name, my first initial, and my project name. And save. And remember, our book panel comes up. Okay, and nothing's actually in it, but we're going to add our pages. So I'm going to go down to the plus. Brings up the documents in the folder that I was just working in. Okay, and I am going to select everything. Actually, I'm not going to select that FM document because that was just for demonstration purposes for you guys to actually create the front matter. So I'm actually going to delete that. But let's add these to the book panel. And all you have to do is press open. Actually, I'm going to delete this back matter 1 too, because again, that was one that I should have deleted. And so we're going to give it a couple of seconds here to generate. It's going to add in all of our documents. So it will give you warnings, and if it gives you a warning, you just need to pop back into that actual document and update or fix whatever it is it's requesting right now. It's saying that I have missing fonts. Okay. And again, I created my document last year, so some things have changed on my computer, but this is, you shouldn't have any issues with your typefaces or anything like that. Okay, so it's brought in all of my documents, but if you will note, it's brought everything into the book panel in alphabetical order. And as we know, our back matter doesn't actually go at the front or at the back of our, it does not go at the front of our book, it goes at the back of our book. So we have to rearrange this panel, okay? And it's just as simple as clicking and dragging and bringing it to the end. You want to keep an eye on these numbers over on the side. It's renumbering all of your page numbers. Okay, and it's going to give me this error each time unless I select do not show. So I want to go bring my front matter up to the front. And I know in my front matter, I have my half title, copyright page, and then my table of contents. I'm going to want my dedication to come after that. Now I could have included my dedication in with my front matter, but I chose to do it separately. All of my chapters are in sequential order. Now we talked about a style document, and I refer to the style document as chapter 1 because that's where we put all of our styles into our document. And you're going to want to select a styles document right now. This little icon indicates which document is our styles document. Now, if we were to make changes to our style, let's say in chapter 15, this little icon would have to be in front of that, and then we could synchronize everything. And it would sync all of your styles throughout your document. But we are going to keep it on chapter 1, okay? So you just keep that there, and that knows, it will tell your book and InDesign where all of your styles are coming from. This is also important with the EPUB, okay? So the EPUB, we have to tell it what our styles are going to be, and our source document, styles document, chapter 1, whatever you hear me referring it to, that is going to be our source, okay? So if you want to change a style, recommend you doing it in chapter 1 and then syncing it throughout your entire book. So let's go in and make sure that our book panel actually knows which styles to synchronize throughout the document. By default, the book panel does not synchronize our master pages. So what you're going to want to do is go into your hamburger menu over here. And again, because mine was set up from last year, it might already have this selected, but let's go to the synchronize options. It does not. Okay. So because I created a new document, it doesn't actually, didn't bring this in. So the synchronize options, you want to make sure that your master pages is selected. Remember on our master pages, we set up our running headers and our folios and everything like that. We want to make sure that we know that InDesign knows to sync all of those. So again, if a change is made, it is synced and InDesign knows to synchronize the master page. So go OK. So another thing we're going to have to talk about is our page numbering. So again, on our master pages, we have our folios, and we've indicated whether or not, again, for our front matter, we might not have folios in our front matter, but if you did choose to set them up, possibly you wanted to set them up as Roman numerals. Again, you could also set up a master page in there that has a blind folio. It's up to you. But if you want to change any piece of your front matter to Roman numerals, or if you want to even change your back matter to Roman numerals, what you can do is, again, in the book panel, double click, so it's opened up my dedication, and I can change the look of my numbers. So I can choose Latin characters, alphabetical, or Roman numeral. Okay. Another thing I want you to do is make sure that all of your pages are set up to appear, all of your chapter openings and any of your new documents are set up to appear on the right-hand side. To make sure that your chapters always appear on the right-hand side, we're going to go in and change a setting. Now, one thing to note is that your right-hand pages are always going to be odd numbers, okay? So we're actually looking pretty good in this document for everything being set up on the right-hand side. But we want to make sure that if we go in and change anything, it's going to do it automatically, okay? And you might not be so lucky as mine as I've actually ended up being with this one, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down to this drop down menu and go to book page numbering. And we're gonna make sure that our page order is changed from continue from previous document. We're gonna go continue on next odd page, okay? So again, our right-hand side is always an odd page. And we wanna make sure that the insert blank page is selected because that's going to insert a blank page in the document beforehand. Now, I don't think we're going to notice any difference here in my page numberings because again, mine seem like they're all set up. But yours will probably populate and recalculate that. It might not be for every chapter, but for some of them, okay? Okay, and so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open back up our front matter. Okay, and again, this is the guy that has some missing typefaces. And I'm not actually going to worry about that right now for this tutorial. I'm going in here and I'm not inserting a table of contents right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to plan my styles for my table of contents, okay? So I'm going to style it the way I want it to look, and I'm going to create a paragraph style for it. And then in the next video, we're going to go over how to set up a proper table of contents. And so I have to remember what I used. Okay, so remember when we set up our styles, we just created kind of like a dummy text. And this is what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm gonna set it up exactly how I want everything to look, and then I am going to create a style. If I could spell, that would be great. So chapter 1. And we're gonna do, a leader. So I'm gonna get out my tabs by pressing Command T, Command Shift T. Okay, and again, this is just dummy text. So okay, and I want to make sure my leader is a dot. Could even do a dot and a space and then another dot. Or however, you wanted to set it up. I guess if I wanted it even, I need another dot in there. Okay, and so this is just, again, setting up the style. Let's say I want to bold that. I can. Go down and do chapter 2. And if I just want regular, page 2, he's going to be bold. Okay, and then I could work with my leading. Now you can research different layouts for your table of contents. This is a very traditional way of doing it. You can decrease your margins if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. Okay, I do want to make you aware of, though, is your naming conventions for this. Okay, I already have a couple different versions here. Okay, I have a table of content header, so this was for my original document that I worked on. This is the name of this right here. And what I want you to, again, be aware of is InDesign has a default style when we get into our table of content, into the actual table of contents feature. There is a default name for a table of contents, the entry, and it has a capital T, capital O, and a capital C. So you want to name your table of contents as something that is very easily recognizable to you. So if it's a lowercase TOC, then do that. Okay, or you can label it capital T, small o, uppercase C, but you'll see as we go through this why I'm telling you to do that. So what I would do is I'd go in and I'd create a new style, and I would say like TOC content header. And remember, it's going to take all of my styles, so I'm just going to go okay. Okay. For this one, let's see what the last one was that I did, the entry. So I just did a smaller one. Let's get out of there and create a new style. And again, capital T, smaller case O, C, and I could call this entry. Okay, and say okay. And so now my style is going to be there. And I wanted my my number to be in bold, so I could go in and create a bold style for that. I already have one in there, so I'm just showing you this for demonstration. You don't even have to call that like table of contents bold. I just call it bold Bembo. That way it's not going to give me an error saying that I've already duplicated it. Okay, and that will pretty much give me my look. I could even go in and test this, right? Change it all back to my basic characters, clear overrides, and I can go in and have capital letters there, which I don't think I picked, but I'm not going to get overly picky right now. You guys can go in and change all of your settings too, okay? I'm just showing you quickly how to do it, and we've already gone over that. And then my bold, I can go in and change. But again, we are actually going to be using these styles in the table of contents feature. So you don't have to worry about setting up a table of contents, typing out all the chapters, and then going and looking for page numbers. That's not what we're doing, okay? We are going to be using the table of contents feature. And I want to emphasize how important that is, because that's going to be essential in your EPUB as well. And you don't want to be spending hours going back and forth from page to page to page and figuring out your chapter names and your page number. It only allows for errors and it's time consuming. So this portion right here, we are just using to get our character styles, okay? And then just stop there. And in the next video, we will jump into how to use the table of content feature.